You've seen it across the country. There are calls for police reform. Rhode Island has already taken a step in that direction by updating its use of force protocol. But the Attorney General here is saying that's not enough. NBC 10's Tamara Sikarsik has more.
That's right. The new protocol basically means anytime an excessive use of force complaint is made against an officer, the AG's office will review it. The same goes for any use of force incident that leads to serious injury. But what happens if an entire department has a long list of civil violations that run deeper than the occasional criminal incident? Well, the answer may be nothing, because no one is tracking it.
There ought to be an element of independence, and we'd like to think that this office can do that.
Policing the police. It's something Rhode Island Attorney General Peter Neronha is pushing for as demands for police reform grow in Rhode Island.
You don't want a department to have to investigate its own on its own.
But that's exactly what's been happening in Rhode Island for years. During our investigation, we learned the state has no record of excessive use of force reports, except for the 4 cases voluntarily handed over to the AG's office over this past year, something that will change under the expanded use of force protocol.
Will you be using this new system to track trends to see if there is a department or an officer that constantly is being reviewed?
The point you raise is a really good one. It's one of the reasons we put in legislation this year, passed by the Senate, not yet taken up by the House, which would give us pattern and practice authority, which removes us from sort of the case-by-case review and allows us to look at a department more holistically.
The Patterns or Practice bill would target civil rights violations by looking at an entire department civilly instead of individual officers criminally. URI lecturer Michael David says it's been used by the Justice Department.
For example, in 2015, there was a federal pattern and practice investigation done for the Chicago Police Department. Department of Justice came in and they took a look and they found out that there were concerning patterns regarding use of force. If there are violations that are discovered, it allows the Attorney General's office to bring a civil action against the agency in state court.
If passed, the AG's office could obtain arrest records, traffic stop data, and civilian complaints from a department. According to the bill, when to launch an investigation would be solely up to the Attorney General, and that's the crux of the main argument against it.
Do you think that some people might say this is giving the Attorney General's office too much power over the police?
You know, that's an argument, sure. It gives the Attorney General's office really a big stick, if you will, but it's an authority that currently isn't vested in anyone other than the federal government.
David says if violations are discovered, it could lead to real systemic changes, allowing the AG to bring a civil lawsuit against a department.
The agency will come to an agreement with the court and the prosecuting agency and agree to changes. Whatever the violations are found, they're addressed in the remedies.
Those remedies are then monitored by the court for years, something Neronha believes would lead to both police reform and public transparency.
Other attorneys general have it. I think it would be a really good thing to have in Rhode Island.
Tamara Sikarsik, NBC 10 News.